welcome back to another video. This episode is episode 2, I believe. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you all are well and I hope you guys are enjoying your life. I am very sorry, my brother is shouting. He's just playing some video games, and also if you can see me visually, there are a few things I want to clear up. Number one, my blinds I have shutters, so there are lots of lines on me and just around in the room. So I'm sorry if that like really annoys you, but we're just gonna have to deal with it because the sun is setting and it sets on my side of the room, so this side of the room. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. Another thing I want to mention is if you're watching me visually, then you can probably see that I have a Labyrinth top on. I have the worm from Labyrinth on my t-shirt, and I have a Labyrinth lettering just in a golden yellow colour. The reason why I wanted to point this out is because it's a bit ironic that I don't have a character or any wording from the few things that I'm going to talk about today. One last thing I want to mention before we actually get into, the actual video is I did post a video about why I dislike Gen Alpha as a Gen Z, but I took that down just because I wasn't really vibing with it. I feel like it wasn't the way I wanted to go with this podcast, because I want everyone to be and feel accepted, and I feel like it was a bit of a dig at Gen Alpha, which yes, I do think they can do better, but I don't think the whole of Gen Alpha needed to see that. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like the things they consume online are a big part of who they are and maybe how they act and other factors as well. So if you did watch that video, you would know what I'm on about. If you didn't, it's okay, it's not going back up. We'll just move on for a minute. I also didn't want to offend anyone if they watched my video, like from my family and my friends. None of my actual friends were affected, it was family friends and stuff who, like, some stories were told and, just that kind of stuff. I'm not too sure how long this podcast is going to be though. I'm going to try and make it like 15 minutes at least. So that means I need to start to talk about The Last of Us. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to actually give you a rundown on what I want to talk about this episode. So as you can tell, I think it's been a week since the Last of Us recap kind of podcast episode went out that I filmed, and so I watched the second episode of The Last of Us yesterday with my friend Leo. Shout out to Leo. And I was going to watch the second episode with my dad last night as well, but that never happened because some stuff got in the way. But me and my dad are going to watch it tonight, so there are going to be spoilers in this video because I already know what's going to happen. I'm just going to watch it again with him just to see his reaction because it's insane. Like, the whole episode is insane. I did not expect what was going to happen, but I'm kind of really like interested to see what happens next type of thing. But anyways, to do with what we're going to talk about now, the plan is I think I'm going to talk about The Last of Us for around 7 minutes or 8 minutes, because I also do want to talk about my, not really addiction with Pac-Man, but my love for Pac-Man, the video game, because I was planning on making a video on it, but I feel like it will be too short a video to just put it separately as its own thing. So I'm thinking about kind of mushing together The Last of Us and Pac-Man in one video just to share my thoughts and yeah, just my ideas for this week's video. So before we talk about that, I do just want to talk about what happened today at school. Don't worry, everything was fine, but I was a bit worried because, I don't know, I just get worried like randomly for random stuff. Like if you do have anxiety and stuff, like, you would understand what I'm talking about. It's just like little things, like some people in the classes that I have are just so bad, and especially because this is the first this was the first day back from Easter break, which was 2 weeks off. I'm normally more scared on the first day back from summer, but the annoying and just crazy thing about this summer is that I'm going to be in year 11, which means if you're in the UK, you probably know like what year 10 and 11 are. I know, well, I don't really know like the different things that Americans refer like school and the years to. Sorry, there is so much like background noise. It's very annoying. But I'm not sure what you guys call it, but I am 15, so however old, well no, if someone's 15, whatever like time they're put into whatever year group, or like high school, middle school, whatever, like senior, I don't really know, or like freshman. I think freshman is year 7 for us. Middle school's probably like year 8. High school is probably year 9, I reckon. And then I guess it's senior, but I don't think I'm a senior. Like, I don't know. But anyways, essentially I have my final exams for the whole of school next year, and I feel like I'm going to be very scared about going back to school after the massive summer break that we get, because I was a bit scared of like today going back, because I just get scared anyways, because it's school and you just don't know what to expect at any point, at any time, whatever. But yeah, I managed to see my friends and that was really nice. Yeah, overall my day was good, and I got a bit of homework, but it's nothing to really worry about because I can just do it in class and stuff for art. The one thing I'm very excited about for year 11 though is that in arts in year 11 we get a fresh book, and we also get a topic that we have to fill a whole sketchbook out in year 11, and I'm so excited for that because that is just my dream. Like honestly, just throwing ideas outside the window at anything, filling a page with it. It honestly sounds amazing. It will take up so much time though. Pardon me, it will take up so much time, but I do believe it is worth it, and hopefully I get a good grade. And I'm thinking about whether I should go to like a college or stay on at sixth form or anything, or do an apprenticeship. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'm thinking of going to an art college just because I feel like that's more up my street, and I'm actually doing something that I enjoy rather than staying on, you know, where I am at school right now and doing their sixth form, because that means I'll have to take the way like the options work, that like the options meaning the things you take to like do lessons on and stuff. I would have to do the things that I'm doing now, which is food tech, sports studies and art. And as much as I like the three, the only one that I want to be doing because I love is art. And so it's a bit annoying that, you know, you have to do 2 other subjects, and I think you have to pick another one, but then you can drop one. I think it is optional if you want to do 4 in the first term, but I think you then have to drop one because otherwise it's going to be 4 A levels that you have to do, and that's just insane, ridiculous, crazy. So yeah, so the first thing that I want to talk about in this, you know, this episode of, well, episode 2 of Nuala Knows Nothing is I want to talk about The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 2. Before we actually get into that, I do want to say I've just watched Final Destination 1, 2 and 3. You know, they were so good, but now I'm really paranoid at death is gonna try and come for me for some reason. I don't know why. If you want a video on that, comment down below. I feel like there was something else that I wanted to say, but I can't remember. I don't know, you guys. So let's get back with the Last of Us chat. I'm sorry, you guys, there is so much going on in my house right now. It's normally not like this, but because I'm filming, like, after school.
Just about to serve up dinner.
Okay. This is what I mean. Because I'm filming after school, it's much more difficult to get like a quiet space because my parents are making dinner, they're doing work, you know, it's just all crazy because normally I film on Sundays and that's like the chill day. But I wanted to film today just because I had nothing to really do. But now I've got to go for dinner, so I guess I'll chat after. Hopefully. If this runs through the next day, I'm going to be really sad, but I'm going to try and come back after dinner. I'm going to try eat really quick and then I'll be back. Even though it's just going to be like 1 second difference for you guys. Hey guys, sorry about that. It is the next day and I've just come back from school. If you hear anything, you know, out of the ordinary from my previous video, for example, any screaming, which might be coming from children outside my house, walking up and down the street, or maybe cars, or my brother shouting because he's playing his video games, that is because school is out and I'm filming straight after school, although these children are from a primary school, so that is why. And that is that, and that is it. And there are people staring at me, so I've got to give them the eyes back. My day was okay. I mean, there was lots of people just shouting, screaming, yelling, getting annoyed in class, and also, pardon me, also people throwing things around the class, and my partner, who was sitting next to me at the time in English, was throwing things, and the teacher couldn't see because she let everyone mark our own work, and you know, it's a bit annoying. It's a little bit annoying when the teacher doesn't know that everything's being thrown around and stuff. So, you know, it's very frustrating, like that sort of stuff, because it's very childish. Especially being 15, like honestly it's just stupid. That person's wearing a really cool hat and her outfit, oh my gosh. That outfit's so cool. Sorry, I had to look at that outfit for a second. Right now, well, I have just started to, what is it called? Record right now because I want to finish this episode as soon as I can, because there are a few things that I need to do. For example, tidying my room and sorting out my bag, getting my bag ready for tomorrow, getting my uniform ready for tomorrow, laying the table for dinner, doing the washing up after dinner, all this stuff, homework, sticking stuff in my book, you know, putting like that stuff that you can put on the top. What is it called? I have a whole pot of them. I don't know what they're called. I'm gonna show you. You know, like these things, I forgot what they're called, but they're like clips if anyone's hearing. Oh gosh, one just fell on the floor. Any of these clips, I don't know what they're called, I forgot. If you're not visually watching this or listening to this, then they're like silver clips that you put in your work and stuff. I've forgotten what they're called, so comment down below if you know. Last thing I want to point out, I do kind of feel a bit sick. I don't know whether that's because of the stuff that I've ate, because I made some black beans for lunch and they were really tasty, and in English, when probably my food like properly digested, my stomach felt a bit like, I don't know, just what's it called? Like it was going to explode. I don't know whether that's because of my anxiety or because of the food that I've had today, or because I haven't had enough vegetables, even though I did have cucumber at break and I had these black beans at lunch. I had some basil in it though as well, and then I also had, I forgot the sauce, but I put some like spicy powder in it and also cold water because I put it in a thermos, so it was all heated up. Okay, so now that that has all been talked about for a few minutes, what I am going to do now is I'm going to get out the notes that I wrote down yesterday whilst I was watching The Last of Us with my dad. Because basically I always feel like I just need to write stuff down because I'm gonna forget to talk about it. And after dinner yesterday, I did stop watching or not watching. It was about like 8 o'clock by the time me and my dad had finished watching it. I'm sorry, I still feel sick. I don't know what is going on with me today, but I'm just not with it. Like, I kept on forgetting everything when my friend's mum was telling me or asking me what did I do on the Easter holidays. I completely forgot. But that's okay, because at least we have today to talk about The Last of Us. Okay, so also I will be talking about I will be saying if you can see me visually, if you can hear me, or not if you can hear me, because you can hear me either way. If you're watching this or if you're listening to this visually, listening to this visually? What the hell? I will be saying that type of stuff a lot, so I'm sorry if that's annoying, but I feel like I have to say it for viewers who are listening on Spotify and viewers who are listening and watching on YouTube here. Even though the Spotify does have video as well, so you could be watching this on Spotify. So either way, I have my different things that I want to talk about here. I have lots. That's my old teacher. I have lots of stuff to talk about. So let's start at the beginning. So the first thing I wrote down was about Abby seeing her dad at the start of the... Okay, before we get into it, actually, I do just want to say there are spoilers ahead for episode 2 of The Last of Us in this. That there will be spoilers, and I will be talking about the whole episode, so go check that episode out before you actually listen to this or watch this. So Abby saw her dad on the ground at 19 years old with his brains splattered everywhere on the floor, and that would have given her a lot of trauma. But I feel like, I probably, if I was in Abby's position, I probably would go after Joel, but in sitting back and being a fan of Joel and Ellie, I feel what Joel did was right, because Abby's dad, who was the doctor, okay, also I have this, I don't know, it's just so painful, like my elbow's so painful. I was running down the stairs when I was at school, and basically there was this metal bit outside, and I like banged my elbow on it, and my elbow's been hurting ever since. So I shouldn't have leant on my armchair, or the arm on the chair. So that's that. Also, I really do like my hair longer. I just think it's nice. Anyways, I do want to grow out my hair. That's just something I want to say. Yeah, comment down below if you want me to grow out my hair. Anyways, the doctor who Joel killed and who was Abby's dad, I think I remember he did have like a needle in his or like a syringe in his in one of his arms, and sorry, I just hit my elbow again. In one of his arms, and I think Ellie was on the table and they were going to take the blood out of her and take all of her blood out of her, meaning that she would die and that there would be a cure for the rest of the world potentially, but they would have to do loads of, not programming, but loads of like tests and stuff. But that would have to mean that someone who wasn't immune would have to bring their blood as well, potentially, to see the difference, and then they'd have to see how to get to that immune point. So either way, more than one person was going to die or going to get blood sucked out of them. But I think it was good that Joel killed the doctor, because he was going to kill everyone. Not everyone. Because he was going to kill... I'm sorry, there was this really random person who just was walking. I feel like everyone's looking into the windows for some reason today, and it's very frustrating. Maybe it's because these 3 windows are just... these shutters are open and none of the other ones are. Maybe that's the reason. I think it was good that Joel killed the doctor, because he was going to suck the blood out of Ellie and was essentially putting her immune blood probably in like a test tube or something, and that would be the end of Ellie and our story. So, so that was the green card that I had, that I wrote on last night, and I finished the first point on the white paper that I have now. On to the next point. I wanted to say that Abby didn't really have a plan with her friends when Joel would get there, like to the cabin, or when they would find them, which I have evidence for because first off, they didn't say anything, or they didn't say they had a plan. But then Abby's friend, who I can't remember his name, I'm very sorry, but when Abby's friend said he has a plan, and then his friends, like his other friends, when Abby went outside doing like watch or whatever, he said that to the rest of the friends that he's going to try and convince Abby to go back, because if they go down there, they're gonna die. Now, obviously, different circumstances happened. All the clickers were racing towards them, and Abby didn't really have a choice but to run. So, you know, it's kind of like, you know, like if only if Joel didn't care for Ellie too much, he would still be alive, because then he would have gone on the later patrol, which would then meant that they would have probably came back home quicker. Or but then would Abby and her friends stay up in the cabin longer than they did, because all they were doing is waiting for Joel? That's a good I feel like that's actually very interesting though, because I don't know, I feel like it's just a weird thing to have happened. Like that wasn't in the plan for any of them, and for that to actually happen is kind of crazy. Like it's so obscure and no one thought about it and knew it. But yeah, that was that point. I also wrote down that it was Abby's way or the highway because Abby, when she was killing Joel, or you know, like abusing Joel, her friends did want her to stop, and we did see that because they were saying like, Abby, like, what are you doing? Like, that's enough, like, let's go. I will try to put some clips in as well. It has been a few days since the last episode came out, so hopefully people have them on YouTube, because that's where I get all of my clips and stuff for the video, not hair clips. And I also think that they would never have agreed of Abby's plan if they knew how bad she would treat them, or she would treat Joel. When Joel's dad was talking, and Joel's brother, I think his name's like Jimmy, but I'm not sure. Or, oh, I don't actually know. But my phone's off because it's still in my blazer from school, so I don't really want to get it on. But anyways, Joel's brother's wife, basically when, you know what, I might actually need to get the names. I don't want to. It's okay, we can deal with it. So then when Ellie and the person who she was going on patrol with, when they went to the, like, I think it was like the living space, or not living area, but restaurant maybe it might have even been, because there was a kitchen there. So yeah, I think it is the restaurant in the town. When they went to the restaurant, Joel's brother was, well, he's obviously in charge of the whole place, so he was speaking whether there would be like any dangers or anything, because I think they knew that there was like loads of clouds in the sky and stuff, which I don't know, it does give some weird vibes already. But yeah, maybe they knew that there would be massive like destructive points, maybe not in the day, I don't know. But yeah, what I was trying to get at there is when Ellie's partner on patrol said thanks from Seth giving them 2 sandwiches, he goes thanks, and then Seth goes yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't think he was trying to be sarcastic or like not be genuine, but I think he did want an apology from Ellie, because he was like, yeah, you're welcome, you know? So yeah, that's what I think. Also, the blink that Ellie gave her patrol partner, who's also Dina's ex-boyfriend, she goes, I'm always gonna be Ellie, Joel's always gonna be Joel, we're gonna be each other. Wait, no, she doesn't say that, but I'll try and find the clip. But then she goes, okay, and she blinks, and it's just the best blink ever.
And nothing's ever gonna change that, ever. so you can all stop talking about us, worrying about us, and thinking about us, alright?
Also, for viewers who aren't watching this, I did just blink there in that moment of silence. So just imagine me blink right there, then and then. Then and there, not then and then. That does not make any sense. Anyways, next point. Oh my gosh, everything's falling. There could have been a clicker in the barn where Ellie and Ellie's partner for the patrol put the horses, because they both went on one horse each, and I feel like they left the thing open, but maybe not. Maybe I was just imagining it, but they might have closed the gates. And the most ideal thing ever, they had hay there. I mean, how much more perfect could it be for the horses, you know? Like, they probably hadn't ate in a while, and yeah, it was just perfect. But I do still think that it is all Abby's fault, because she was the one who spotted she was the one who spotted Dina and Joel on the horses out in the woods, or like in the snow and in the forest. It was Abby's fault because she fell down that mountain, and then either it was the sound of her falling on the floor from the mountain or on the hill, or it was the pressure that she applied to the ground that made all of the clickers rise, or it was the fungi that the other random person, that some random dude was trying to clear out, because there was like a bunch of hay and stuff, but when you like touch just even a bit of the cordyceps, you know, you're taking yourself into battle, you're really putting yourself out. That's essentially a sign for all the clickers to kind of gather to that point, so they would do anything to try and get to that point where there was the cordyceps below all that weird hay stuff that was in the drain pipe. So yeah, so it's either Abby's fault for awakening and applying pressure, or it was just a coincidence that they fell, that Abby fell, and that random worker kind of rang the alarm bells for the clickers, and yeah, it kind of just made them go, even if they were dead. But that's kind of bad then, because does that mean that clickers can still be alive when they die, when they're shot or stabbed or whatever? Or did all of those like those hundreds and thousands of clickers not die because there was just so much like ice and snow everywhere? I don't know. I do really love how all of the clickers were coming out of the ground though. I just think that piece of art is incredible. I truly do praise the production team and the editors and co-producers, the producers, the sound people, like literally everyone, the actors, everything. The clickers, honestly, they are incredible, and they should have more credit for their work, because they are essentially what makes the show the show. The fact that Abby took Joel and Dina back to the lodge though is so evil of her. Honestly, I cannot believe she did that. I really did like how all of the like clickers were coming onto her on the fence. I really enjoyed that. I really thought she was going to die, but I guess it's just the adrenaline that kept her alive. Maybe, but she did also like kick a few clickers, which was very amusing to see as well. That was quite funny. I also like how Amy, I think her name's Amy, who was on the like sound team type of thing in the actual village, I liked how she kept on saying her line. The cameras weren't even on her. I really liked that. When Joel's brother was walking out, you could still hear her, and I think that's a very nice point. and moment because we get to hear her still. But the way that they were getting ready for all of the attacks, it felt like that had happened again, or like before.
Get off the street!
And I'm a bit confused about that because, you know, there wasn't much like more construction that had to be done. But then again, Joel's brother's wife, she was telling Joel that there's too much construction to be still done.
These 3 will be done by next day or so, and another day to hook up sewage. Now, y'all wanted the library and the school restored by spring, but they both need new roofs. With the manpower that we have, I don't see any of this getting done until summer.
This window isn't keeping the cold out anymore.
Yeah, caulk. It's high up on my list. We've been using a ton of it to restore the new,
We need to build faster.
Faster? Sure, how much faster? See, we got this, dial, called the constructometer.
Joel.
The more you turn it, the faster we go.
We're running out of space to put these people.
Yeah, I noticed. Maybe your, council stop letting so many of them in.
It's our council. When these people are fleeing collapsed settlements, they're fleeing infected. We're supposed to leave them out there?
If our lifeboat is swamped, yeah, we leave them out there.
In the first episode, so that might be because of a previous attack and they still haven't haven't fully rebuilt everything, which is understandable because, you know, there's not millions of them. There are quite a lot of people though, and they have really built a massive community in the whole pandemic, and that's really nice to see actually, because I feel like not many other places or groups would like to do that. When the massive clicker was about to eat up Joel's brother, and when the clicker fell onto the snow, the smoking sound and the burning sound, oh my god, it was the best thing ever. When Joel's brother came and he was kind of helping everyone in the village, I did like how he kind of looked around at all of the mess and crap on the floor and everything, and how everything kind of went to shambles. Everything that he's been working for and working towards has kind of all just been destroyed. But when his wife releases all of the dogs, I really like how he found strength in that and he found hope again and went on to push through, because we do see a little moment where the dogs are actually biting the clickers' necks and heads off. And I want to talk about Dina's kind of acting for a minute, Isabella's acting. I really love how she was like shivering really bad and was trembling and kind of couldn't find the words from, you know, the shock that she kind of found in herself when they were at the lodge.
We're gonna raise your body temperature up slowly, okay? Who are you?
Hang on.
I think her acting was incredible in those moments, and you can also kind of tell how Mel doesn't want to be there.
Tourniquet him.
Mel, let's just do what we came to do.
You know, she doesn't even want to put the syringe in because she has to look back at Abby, and then Abby's like, if you don't do it, I'm gonna like rip your face off or something. Joel interrupting Abby speaking as well is just iconic. Like, honestly, I love it so much.
Oh, it's funny. I have waited
No,
so...
just shut the fuck up and do it already.
It's really fun to see as well because he knows how much she's going to enjoy this and has kind of already enjoyed the moments that they've shared so far, in the fact that she's going to hurt him and she's going to kill him. So I really like the fact that Joel was kind of like, oh, just do it already, you know, and like in the middle of her speaking as well, which I think he took lots of power in that and stuff. And also it was very, very like kind of terrifying and just really messed up of Abby to shoot Joel in the knee.
I saved your life.
What life?
But that moment, that camera angle was actually beautiful. Like as much of a disturbing scene it was, dangerous for the people in there and being around Abby, I feel like it was just kind of amazing. The shot was amazing because you had the mountains in the background, you had the people around them, you had Abby really quickly just going and shooting at his knee after calling him, "You're pretty handsome." I just thought that moment was really just beautiful. Ellie walking through the door though really did make me feel like there was a chance for recovery from Joel, but it was a bit too late when she kind of walked in through the door and was kind of shocked at the fact that Joel was on the floor and someone was hitting him. But then when Abby looked back, the other people who are like in her gang kind of looked back as well and then saw Abby, obviously, then saw Ellie, not Abby. Yeah, I was really sad about that though, because I did really think that Ellie was going to like shoot Abby, but obviously because of the state that Joel was in at the time, it was very disturbing for her to see. And when Ellie was when she was saying, "Get up," like, "Joel, get up."
Joel! 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 Joel, get up! Joel, get up! Joel, fucking get up! Joel, get up.
End it.
Joel, get up.
Constantly, it really kind of made it kind of felt like it was trying to purposely make Abby feel bad about what she was doing, because also the tone that Ellie was using was just really like young and sweet, even though she's like 24 now. No, she's not, she's 19. And then her friends as well, Abby's friends, were really like, "Abby, stop, like you've done enough damage to this guy, like, you know." And Joel actually does try to get up, like the tiniest bit, but the fact that he actually heard her, oh my god, it was just, that was just beautiful. Like the amount of pain that he must have been in, and he can still hear her voice. Bro, it's honestly like insane. It's just a crazy scene. The moment when Joel gets stabbed is also a really interesting scene, because when he gets stabbed in the neck, there's this kind of like sound of like a samurai sword splitting from its like safety armor, or like what you have to put on like a knife to not let it like stab anyone, really. Like armor for a person, you know, when you're going to war, like, I don't know. But the silence and the echo that kind of went around, it felt like almost Ellie was imagining, or not even imagining, but that whole like, everything was in slow motion for her, it kind of felt like.
Please, please don't, please don't.
But the moment when like Abby went, like even just like the close-ups like of Abby taking the golf club and just like the way she like stabbed him as well, it was amazing, but really sad. Like I honestly, I'm never gonna forgive Abby for that, and I hate Abby for that. But the scene is so beautifully a violation almost, you know? And then when the music at the end starts to play about like, I don't care because I'm gonna kill my enemies, or when my enemies come, I'll kill them, or something like that. And then when Ellie's patrol partner comes along into the scene as well, oh my god, it's just crazy. And then Dina comes back to life and we see a final shot of Abby and her crew kind of going off into the wild, because now that she's killed Joel, you know, we don't really know what to expect from her and from her kind of crew anymore. And now all I can expect is Ellie's going to try and hunt her down, and it's going to be about all of that shebang. But then when Dina also has her head facing downwards when she's just like on the horse, and when Joel is just in that body bag, and the moment when like Ellie turns around to look at Joel, oh my god, it was the saddest thing ever. It's so sad. It's honestly so sad. Like, why is this, like, it's just so annoying as well. Like, why did Joel have to die? He was the main character, literally the main character, well, one of them at least. But he literally was the main character in the first season, and now he's gone. It's like, what are we doing here? What is left to share with us? So I can only think that, like, it's Ellie's story now, because Ellie is immune, so unless Abby kills her whilst Ellie is trying to kill Abby, I don't know who's going to try and kill her. The last thing I want to say is the fact that Joel is now dead and his brother doesn't know that, and the whole village doesn't know that, apart from the 3 people on those horses and Abby and all of her crew. I mean, I wonder whether Abby is actually, and not Abby, but the rest of her crew is actually going to go to the village and not want to hang out with Abby anymore, because I would not want to hang out with Abby. She seems like a dangerous person. If she can do that to, you know, if she can do that to a grown man, of course she's going to be able to do it to one of her friends. You know, chances are she probably doesn't even see these people as a friend. She probably just sees them as acquaintances. But the fact that they're going to have to deliver all of this news to his brother, to Joel's bloody brother, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that this is actually happening. Like, bro, the amount of like suffering that they're gonna have to go through now is just honestly insane. I wouldn't be surprised whether the first like clip of the 3rd episode is them just rebuilding everything, or like being at Joel's funeral. I feel like everyone's just gonna be in tears, but I feel like Dina and Ellie are probably just either gonna be an absolute sobbing, but I feel like that's not really in Ellie's character. I feel like Ellie's just kind of gonna be really, like, might shed a tear or two, but is just really in shock of it all, and is gonna have to process it, or will process it in other ways, potentially that being killing Abby. It is honestly so sad that this all had to happen this episode. I did not expect it at all. In a way, it was kind of needed, because I was listening to the Last of Us podcast, and they were saying how in the first episode, how it was kind of like a romantic love story between Dina and Ellie, and I do understand that fully, and I agree so much, because, you know, if there's no drama, what is this? This is just a romance story, you know, and that's not what The Last of Us is about. The Last of Us is about The Last of Us, you know, who's gonna survive. I am very excited for the next episode as well. I cannot wait. I also wanted to finally say that this is not a Last of Us podcast, because I will be like doing other stuff, like, what's it called, other stuff other than The Last of Us. I did try and do a Gen Alpha type of video, but I took that down because I wasn't happy with it and how it made me feel, kind of thing. So I was kind of just like, I don't really want to base my channel around hate. I want it to be where people can express how they feel, and with people watching The Last of Us, and if I talk about The Last of Us for multiple episodes through The Last of Us and also through my podcast, it kind of gives a reason to stay on and watch my videos, because that shows you kind of like not routines, but like watching series and stuff. I also wanted to say I'm very sorry for not talking about Pac-Man. That might be the next video, I'm not sure. It might be a shorter video. I might speak about that in my other one. I just had so many, you know, notes about The Last of Us that I just had to talk about, and I feel like this is going to be a long video. I hope you guys have had a nice time, you know, watching this or listening to this. Yeah, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you enjoyed this, please go check out my Last of Us episode 1 review and my thoughts. I'll have that linked up here, and I'll also have it, and it's also on my channel if you want to go check that out. I hope you all have a good evening, a good morning, whenever you are, you know, watching or listening to this. And yeah, hopefully I will see you all next time. Bye guys.